5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We are actually already up.
Oh,
Everybody,
nailed it.
welcome. Nailed it. Welcome to another episode of Cocktails with Curtis.
Yes.
My co-host.
I renamed the show.
Julee, Ireland. Julee is a very well thought of, highly, I wouldn't say respectable, but you are.
Thank you.
You're, I think that you have brilliant design. You have a brilliant design eye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
But better than your design, what your design is amazing, is you're a better human. You're
Aw.
a great person.
Thank you.
Julie does consultations. Julie nationwide helps people with their homes, make them beautiful. So
That's right.
she's very talented, super talented.
Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, it's like what you said yesterday. Yesterday, Julie met someone in Houston. I'm not going to name any names. She met someone in Houston, and that person said, "Well, Curtis is kind of like my competition." And Julie just laughed, and she was like, "There is no competition. There's so much business out there for everybody. You're
That's
not
right.
really in competition. Like, we're trying to figure out how to work together."
Yeah.
Julie just threw this in my mind. She said that we need to go buy a $15 million house and flip
Exactly. I
it or
mean,
build it.
Go big or go home, folks.
This is 2022.
Think big.
The other thing I love about you is you lost your husband,
Yeah.
and I lost my mom and dad. And so I feel like people who lose someone that they love dearly live life on a different perspective, which means I need it now, and life is too short to wait for someone else to give it to me or for the opportunity to present itself. I got to go make the opportunity.
That's absolutely 100% true. I mean, I think he definitely, the whole experience definitely awakened me in a whole different way. Yeah, for sure. I mean, life is short, and you do have to dream big, and don't be afraid to move forward and move towards those dreams and make it happen, Captain.
Yeah. And only bring, you're good at this too, cutting off negative space in your life.
Yeah.
People who bring negative space, cut that off quickly.
Yeah.
Because like I said in the break room, the train of positive energy is a momentum builder. It's once it goes downhill, you're picking up passengers with you left and right. And sometimes someone will get on and try to ruin that whole momentum. And you got to just let that person off as quickly as possible.
That's
Not
right.
every person in your life is meant to be in your life.
Right. And a lot of times they're in your life just to maybe learn a little something more about yourself. Like, it's more about a life lesson for you. And then, yeah, when the red flags are there and you've learned your lesson, you need to move on and keep it positive. Keep it sunny side up.
Right. What do you think stops people today from from achieving what they really want, for going for it?
I think it's fear. I think a lot of people are just fearful. They focus on money. They focus on it. Oh my gosh, I've got this steady. What's going to happen if I go and I do this? Then I'm going to lose this, and then how am I going to be able to survive? Well, if you think that way, and if your focus and your motivation is just on your dollars and cents, you can't grow. And you can't grow that because you just stuck yourself at that, $40,000 a year salary, because you're telling yourself in the universe, in the world, that that's all you deserve and that's all you can get. And you can't achieve anything more than that. So it's fear that holds people back. Don't be fearless in the pursuit of your dreams.
Ooh, that is good. I was listening to Steve Harvey. He does that show where they take people's opinions and they
Oh, yeah.
survey says,
Yeah.
whatever. I can't remember what the name of the show is, but there's like two families fighting against each other. I want to say People's Court, but I know that's not right. But anyways, Steve Harvey is on the show, and before he does the show, he kind of like gets up and does a little monologue. And I was listening to one of his monologues, and he was just saying about that most people, when they come into a situation, their biggest issue is that they are allowing the court of public opinion to really rule instead of focusing just on their heart, right? Just on their goal and their dream. It's what other people have that is keeping them from really where they want to go. I struggled with that whenever, when I was a realtor. My mentor, a guy named Jack Mize, he looked at me and he said, you can't chase two chickens. You're only going to be able to catch one. He says, you're either going to be a realtor or you're going to be a great flipper or a home builder, but you can't chase both. You don't have enough time to be great at both. So quit chasing two chickens. He said, just grab one and let that lay all your gold eggs.
That's right. And focus on the one thing that you're truly passionate about.
Right.
And everything, I believe just everything is obtainable if you keep moving towards that. If your intention's there. It's about manifesting, right?
Oh, so good.
It's manifesting. It's just you put it out there and you claim it. You say, I'm going to flip a $13 million house.
Or I'm going to buy an Airbnb resort in Fredericksburg.
See? And then open up a farmer's market.
And have an outdoor concert venue.
And wine tasting.
And craft beer tastings.
We have and we're going to add more Airbnbs and then a wedding venue.
Yes. Yes.
See?
A private booking space. Yes.
We're manifesting right now, folks.
Yeah. But so after Julie came on the first podcast, we, so some behind the scenes, catch everybody up. We started talking about, hey, how could we work together?
Yeah.
And then from that was, let's start dreaming big. And then my wife found this perfect spot in Fredericksburg on the water or on the river, and it's already being used as an Airbnb. And the problem that we're having right now is getting them to agree to the price of what realistically the property's worth, not what we're going to do to it that's going to generate the income to make it where they want to list it at today. Right.
And if it's meant to be, it will be. And if it's not this one, it's going to be another one in Fredericksburg. So we're coming, Fredericksburg.
or Hill Country in general.
Hill Country, we're coming for you.
We're coming for rivers, coming for oceans, and
wine.
Coming for lakes. We're bringing wine, beer, and farmers markets with us.
Yes, we are.
So
that's how we roll.
But there's so we're doing a vision board party, and you're invited to it, by the way.
Thank you.
We're going to do a vision board party at my house. We are inviting our closest friends as like a couples night, right? To come. Everybody brings magazines, and we all sit down. And Kendra has this huge square table that sits about 8 to 10 people.
Yeah.
10 people very comfortably. And we're going to work on our vision boards and then share them with each other to keep each other accountable. But the main thing is the vision board really sets your mind on what you're going to go after. And then it keeps every decision you make accountable to that. And we're in the middle of January. And if you don't have a plan or a goal, you're going to fail. You're just going to be working someone else's, or you're just hoping and wishing that dreams come true. And sometimes they don't, because you haven't put anything into the universe to make people conspire to make your dream happen.
Yeah. And everything starts with a plan. I mean, in my home renovation school, that's kind of how I open, and I say that constantly throughout my course. Everything starts with a plan. Yeah, you've got to have a plan.
Julie has a home renovation school. It's $9.97, where she teaches you everything. There's 41 videos, and she's adding more every day. There's 400 downloadable pieces of information that you can download, and sheets of information that you can follow along with or fill in the blanks. Julie's a wealth of information. She's been doing this for a while. Look at her Instagram, stalk her, and creep her page. And
but don't be creepy when you do it.
Creep her page. Don't be creepy. If you're going to slide into her DMs, have a purpose, meaning like, hey, I've got this project that I want to talk with you about. Don't slide into her DMs to be creepy.
Yeah, well, you know what? I started the Home Renovation Hub Facebook group. So join the group, and that's
I'm in your group.
That's right.
I accepted your invite.
Well, thank you, because I need experts like you, Curtis, because
thank you.
People are going to write in, and already people have been posting photos about their projects and things like this. And it's a place, it's a community where people can go to learn. They can help, comment. If you have an answer to a question, answer it, So I'd love to have you guys join the Home Renovation Hub.
Home Renovation Hub on Facebook. So go to Home Renovation Hub on Facebook and add that. Yeah. Do they have to be accepted?
It's
an open group?
Yeah, it's an open group. Yeah.
Yeah. Then go to the open group. Yeah. And there should be a closed group too. Maybe. Yeah, like the people who are just in your program. Oh, I like special groups.
Well, you know what? I am. Yeah. So for the members, so the way the Home Renovation School works is I do have a membership. It's $97 a month, or you can pay $9.97 for the year. But I'm actually starting this month, like live IGTV. Ooh. And I'll be doing one for the students each month that is just for the students or members, I guess, I'd like to call them. And then also I'll be doing one for the Home Renovation Hub.
There's this guy, and he does slot machines live. It's called BC Slots.
Really?
Brian Christopher Slots. Free advertisement for this guy, okay?
That's awesome.
So he goes to these, he went to like 13 casinos last year, and then he just records himself. He sets the camera up, and it's looking at him, and he's doing slots live. And then that guy he starts with just $500. Once he runs out, your live video stops. And then he does this massive group pool of people with like maybe $10,000, and they only do it for the people who subscribe. And I'm like, every single time, I want to see more. I want to see who wins, right? I want to be in this little private group, but then I really don't want to pay for it. I was like, I just really want to go to the casino and be a part of it. But I think that there is what people see on my Facebook. You don't really get. You just get a glimpse of what it's like to be a flipper. Right. There's really so much intricacy that goes into the finished out pictures that you see. I mean, I drive in the morning and I see someone framing the first floor. In the afternoon, they're framing the second floor. It looks like magic on Facebook.
It does.
But it's really not. It's like blood, hard. Sweat, and tears.
And it's hard. And it's dusty and it's dirty.
And in my crew, it's all Mexican power. Yep. Those guys are highly skilled workers. Yeah. And for some reason, if people actually think that flipping a burger at McDonald's is worth $15, they should go and stand on top of a 135-degree roof at McDonald's. I mean, not at McDonald's, but at a job site and try to lay shingles. Yeah. That is work.
It's work and it's skill.
And it's going up. As the price of the burger guy goes up, the cost of skilled labor will follow. So what you need help with, why Julie and I are working together, is simplistic design can save you so much money. Yeah. As long as the follow through, the person implementing the design is good.
Right. It's all about the details. And you don't have to spend a lot of money to achieve a high-end designer look, really. It's understanding materials, how they fit together, and then that detail is how you finish them off. You can take any basic tile and make it look like $1 million if you trim it out right. And if the pattern, the cuts, where you start it, is placed right on the walls so it ends beautifully. That's what it's all about. That's what makes great design.
So so Julie's idea for this podcast is several mistakes. I said 5 mistakes that most investors make or homeowners make when remodeling or flipping a property.
Right.
And so that's one. I actually think you hit on the first one earlier when you were talking about money. In not your dream only costs so much, right? But you're like, oh, well, that cost is too much. A lot of people that I see flipping a house, they flip based on their budget. And they don't flip based on real life expectations of what that's going to cost to achieve that look. That then is going to escalate the price. And especially if you have more than one house in a community, that first house is setting the comp for your second one. And if you buy a property in a neighborhood and you're not actively knocking doors or leaving materials behind, you're there every day.
Yeah, my sign is out in the front yard. Like, your sign's got to be there. It's about branding, marketing, too.
Recognition.
And you know what? I love to meet the neighbors.
Exactly.
I love to meet the neighbors because
they're going to tell
neighbors,
me everything.
I let them in. I let them see what's going on. And then next thing I know, well, can you come do my house? And then their grandma, and then their sister, and their brother.
and if it's in a low end house, you can take a 3 by, what is it? It's not 3 by 3. It's like a 3 by
6.
The 3 by 6. You can take a 3 by 6 tile, and you don't have to lay it in a broken pattern. You don't have to do that today.
It doesn't have to be like a brick pattern, folks.
You can lay them in a chevron pattern.
Chevron.
And these are 22 cents a piece. Mm-hmm. And you can make them herringbone. You can do
stacked
3 and over 3.
Yeah.
And 3 over 3. Or you can do them all stacked. Or you can do them all stacked.
And by the way, in my course, you will get all my tear sheets for this. I show you.
Okay, explain a tear sheet. What is a tear sheet? This is good.
A tear sheet is just basically a sheet that has information on it. So I have like this whole section on tile where I go in depth teaching you about the different grades of tile, the pros and cons, the cost of it, and then I go into patterns with that basic tile. I think I've got maybe 12 different patterns that I give you that you can do with that basic tile. So, the labor, it's a little more labor intensive, so you got to understand that, it's going to be a few $100 more for your installer because it's going to be a little bit more labor intensive. There's going to be more cuts. But the result is beautiful, and in the end you're using a material that doesn't cost you a lot, so it kind of balances out and just gives you like a beautiful look.
I think right now people are spoiled into thinking that the market is always going to be in a frenzy for their product. Mm-hmm. What I call their bullshit product. The market is going to change as the cost to acquire a mortgage changes. It's going to level out a lot of the competition when your goal is only flipping. So you have to have multiple exit strategies, first of all.
Yeah.
You have to have multiple financing options, most of all.
Yes.
And you need to be designing and building a product that's going to be sellable. So paying $200 extra to lay it in a pattern that is going to be more attractive to the buyer will then sell your property faster than the person who was recklessly just giving a contractor a key and letting them finish.
Or just picking out anything from Home Depot or something.
Or the clearance section at Floor & Decor.
Yeah. It's perceived value.
Right.
Like perceived value on everything. Like just putting a simple pattern in your tile, like it gives you a higher overall perceived value. First of all, it's beautiful. So you walk in and you're like, wow, I love the kitchen. I love the backsplash. It's beautiful. And it's simple, too. There's something so beautiful about simplicity,
There's also something beautiful about not going stark white and gray. It really, oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm doing this house, and midway through, like we got to sheetrock, and then we got to prime, and now the customers picked out everything else and kind of relegated me to just fixtures. And so it's a head scratcher. Like, you didn't want any like color anywhere. Like, this is really what you want. But people, when you let them pick it out, or they feel like they have the need to make it feel like theirs, they're going to put their own taste into it, which may not be the best choice.
Yeah. Well, I think too, a lot of people they don't understand color. I teach that in my course too. They don't understand color, and they're afraid of color. And they think, oh, it's going to, if I do my cabinets in a black or something, now my whole house is going to look dark or something. And no, that's not true. It's all about balance. It's creating harmony and balance and focal points. And so you can bring color into your space, and it can look beautiful. It doesn't, it's ceilings matter. Crown molding, folks, if you have shorter ceilings, just removing your crown molding alone brings your eye up and makes your room appear so much taller.
And if your house is not a craftsman bungalow, then you do not today need to be trimming around your windows on the inside. Just regular sheetrock is fine around windows.
So beautiful. As a matter of fact, I love that. Or I also love, and everyone, I've had many trim carpenters go, really? You want me to do that? I'm like, yes, just trust me. I love to use a little 1/2-inch little scribe molding on the interior, paint it to match the window. Like if I'm doing a black, and miter the corners.
Right.
Super clean little profile look. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. And then you can wrap the edge of the sheetrock to it, and it really...
Gorgeous. Yeah. It's simplicity. It's like, do you want your windows to stand out, or do you want them to just blend? And I think that allows them, like you're saying with the sheetrock or something, to just be a part of the canvas, but not be something that draws your eye to it. And when you do all this fancy, casing and stuff and window stool and whatever, your eye is automatically drawn to that when you come into the space. So
a mistake that I think most people are making right now is they take a house that has 8-foot ceilings and they leave the 8-foot ceilings instead of just ripping open the ceiling joist and allowing the pitch or the rafters of the roof to take up that space. Yeah. And then just follow that, put spray foam in that one area, follow the rafters up, and God already gave you that lumber.
Gorgeous. Yeah. There's so many like hidden gems in renovations, especially. So it is worth it always, if you have shorter ceilings, to just open up a little bit of the ceiling there and just see if you have any space to bring it up a little bit. Everything matters. 6 inches matters, honestly.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. We could go elsewhere with that comment, but yes. And then also I see a lot of people, I used to be afraid to go this way and then come over. Now I'm okay with it, as long as I also have like another interesting pitch somewhere else that I can connect it to make it look purposeful. Yes. Not just to run that little reverse hill up and then come across.
You know what? That's a great key word for design, is purpose. Like, as a designer myself, every decision that I make has a purpose. I
feel like this is a mistake that most people are making. They're not purposeful.
You've got to set your intention, just like you are for your goals. You set your intention for your design.
So as a designer, you were, before I interrupted you, said, as a designer, what I see with purpose.
Yeah. Well, with purpose, I'm purposeful in everything that I do. So when I go in, or when I'm designing a space, I am picking like a focal point. Like I'm knowing what in this space is going to be my focal point. Where do I want to draw your eye? Is it going to be the fireplace? Is it going to be the kitchen island? Is it going to be my hood? Is it going to be an accent wall? Is it going to be lighting? Like, I'm purposeful with those items. Or is it the tile design? Do I want to bring your eye to that? So I think I always start with that personally as a designer in my space. Is I look at the space, I feel it, and I go, where is that focal point going to be? And when you have shorter ceilings too, sometimes that focal point, the best thing to do to make those shorter ceilings disappear, well, first of all, one of my tricks is to bring the same wall paint up onto the ceiling, so you're not breaking your eye.
Okay, so that's a mistake that most people make. They do the ceiling white, and then they do the walls a different color.
Yeah, and they don't do it like an off-white. They do it bright white. So I mean, it stops your eye.
It
does.
Just
stops the flow, and you walk into the space and you know something's bothering you, but you don't quite know what it is. Well, that's what it is. It's stopping like the flow of the space, the harmony of the space.
The other thing that I've gotten into the habit of doing is the walls, the trim are all the same color. And just the door slab itself is the paint.
I love that. I do that a lot too. Yeah.
Because the least designed space in the home is the door. And that's the one that you see that could give you the most impact.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to use that as an accent color that you see throughout the home. So I love to do that. So then I'm carrying that same kind of theme throughout and tying it all together.
So one of the houses that we're going to go see, it has the door and then purposeful. You know, when she says purposeful, when I say purposeful, I mean that this design element is also carried through the house where you can see it in more than one place. It didn't look like, ooh, I just wanted an accent wall. It looked like, ooh, I wanted an accent wall, and you can also see this accent wall here or there or wherever.
Or that color on the accent wall is the same color as your door that's throughout your house. So it becomes cohesive.
What do you think about the batten board wall, where you do that little element of design where you just add trim over the sheetrock?
I'm doing a lot of it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw my San Francisco project. We did a ton of designs, really cool wall designs. I love it because you can really get creative and create your own pattern, and it just brings texture into the space, and it's inexpensive.
And it's an element of surprise.
And actually in my course, I actually teach how to do that. I show examples. I have my 5 steps on how to create an accent wall using like scribe molding or something like that. You literally can do it yourself. You do not have to be a builder, or, I mean, if you have a miter saw,
right,
and some blue tape and a nail gun, you can do it.
Yeah, and that's something else that I see is a lot of people, they use the blue tape. Make sure and caulk your wall first, then put the blue tape over, then paint. Because then when you peel your tape up, it doesn't pull the tape with, or the paint with you. I've learned that the hard way on a lot of my projects. I've also decided to pay a premium for paint where I used to not.
Oh, it's so important. I love it. I love that you're on my wagon here.
Yeah.
Zach, our rep that we love, right?
Yeah.
A good quality paint is so important, and I always build that into my budget, and including all of my clients, I'm always telling them, look, it is worth it. You do not want the lowest grade paint. It's if you understand paint, it's all when you're buying a higher grade paint, the additives and things that are in it just give you more longevity. And not only that, it takes the pigment better and deeper is the way, I guess, to describe it. So it'll last. You can wipe fingerprints off, especially if you have little kids at home, a house full of kids. You want good quality paint.
Well, also when you leave that flip and the homeowner goes back to Sherwin-Williams and they say, well, here's my address and this is the guy that built my house, they're going to pull up that invoice and they're going to go, oh, wow. Yes, I can give you a gallon of the Emerald, and it's going to be $57 for the gallon.
It's my favorite.
I use Emerald.
I use Emerald urethane too, folks. It's the best.
Yeah, it's a urethane.
So gorgeous.
It is. It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
So we use a lot of Emerald product, and the reason why we use Emerald is because oil base is non-existent today. You can't really find it. And oil base gives you a higher sheen versus the urethane, which comes out as kind of like a caked. You can brush it on, and it looks like it was blown on.
Yeah, well, I love more of a matte finish, and in
I
some
love
instances,
a matte
right?
finish.
And I mean, there's satin finish on that urethane.
It looks more matte. It doesn't have
it's
the shine.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people step over the dollars to pick up dimes in flipping. You know, they take a 6-panel door, but because that 6-panel door is outdated, they throw that away and they go get either a flat slab or they get the 5-panel shaker that they can buy at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Instead of just take your urethane, sand it down a little bit, scratch it up so that it will accept some paint, prime it, and then paint it a color. And you can transform that 6-panel door and make it dressed up, make it feel like the girl at the dance just had a makeover.
Yeah. Well, you can also add a molding piece around that too to give it a little bit more depth. And that's an easy thing again to do. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's just so many fun things that you can do that it doesn't cost a lot of money.
No, it doesn't cost a lot of money. I just can't wait to see what 2022 brings, because I met you at almost the very end, the cusp of 2021, or the cusp of 2022.
Oh, yeah.
The tail end of 2021. And we're already working on big things.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll get to do another Nailed It podcast.
Yeah, we're going to do lots of them.
Where we can talk about what we've nailed that.
Exactly.
During that time period.
Yeah.
So $9.97 for the home renovation school.
Yep. Or $97 a month.
Yep.
And I do have a 7-day for $7 trial. 14-day money back guarantee with the school. I want people to be happy.
Yeah.
I'm in the business of making happy people and happy dreams come true with homes, and I do not want someone who's, if you're unhappy, then it's fine. But I've gotten very, very good reviews, so I think with all the content, it's like over 7 hours of content. It's very thorough, very in-depth. I think you'll be happy.
I think what Julie is saying is she is all about providing massive value in a very short window of time for you. And she's given you an opportunity in 7 days for $7. That's literally, if you go to Starbucks twice, you could just cancel not going to Starbucks twice. You can make the coffee at home, or come up here to Total Wealth Academy.
It's one trip to Starbucks is $7.
That's a 30.
That's a vanilla latte with almond milk, by the way.
Vanilla latte with almond. That's right. I think it's $6.85. In Houston, my wife gets a cinnamon. Her order is a venti hot, non-fat cinnamon dulce latte.
Nice.
Yeah, skinny.
She's trained you well. Yeah, it's always got to be skinny.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. She always wants the cinnamon dulce. One pump cinnamon dulce, not two. Like, oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Sugar free.
That's awesome.
Really? Okay. I've tried it before. We switched the drinks. I just wanted to spit all over my windshield. It was horrible. Well, everyone, thank you so much. This is my company, Urban Restoration.
Yep.
One of my favorite guests, Julie Ireland. And thank you again, Steve Davis with Total Wealth Academy for hosting.
We love him.
Steve is amazing.
Amazing.
Steve, we have a bunch of workshops that are coming up. I think that there's one this Thursday at Total Wealth Academy. Go to totalwealthacademy.com. Go to homerenovationschool.com.
.com.
go to Julie Ireland's IG page and tell her that you love Curtis, and she will know that you've seen her on the podcast. All right.
Nice.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good, blessed 2022.
Yes.
Go nail it.
Let's go.